lot to cover, baby, because we're going to go over some of these previews for Lord of the Rings first before we get into the new standard, which I built like 8 different decks for, and I want to look through those. But first things first, what's up, Wizards, in case you're watching on YouTube. I should say that much. I'm Dev from Mtg. We like it at Magic, and we're going to look at some Lord of the Rings previews today. We're not going to look at all of them from today because there's a bunch of like draft chaff in there. We got like vanilla 3-mana 3/2s and like vanilla 2-mana 2/2s, and it's not pretty. It looks like an old Magic set in some ways, or like draft stuff from standard sets. You know, like, oh, here's a 5-mana guy. He has flying, and when he swings, something else gets flying. It's like, oh, that's very imaginative. I've never seen that card before. So I didn't save like every single card that we got to see today, but if it had a name that I recognized or I thought you might recognize, then I basically saved it. But I haven't read the vast majority of these cards yet. So you're going to get kind of my raw reaction to most of these cards as I read them. With the reminder that this set is legal in a bunch of formats, like almost everything but standard. This set is legal in. So let's take a look real quick. Starting, I suppose, I think we're going through it in alphabetical order. So we'll start with Aragorn. That's a card people probably care about. Aragorn the Uniter is 4 mana. He's everything but black. He is red, green, white, and blue for a 5/5 legendary human noble. Whenever you cast a white spell, create a 1/1 human soldier creature token. It's white. Whenever you cast a blue spell, scry 2. Whenever you cast a red spell, Aragorn deals 3 damage to an opponent. And whenever you cast a green spell, target creature gets +4/+4 till end of turn. So what you should do is cast a spell that costs all 4 colors at the same time. Like, that's actually fun if you have an Aragorn out and you cast an Aragorn. Like, sure, legend rules, but you get all of these things, which is pretty cool. This is a neat card. I think it's a really cool commander. Not quite a 5-color commander, and you lose a pretty good color with excellent removal and stuff, but like, big deal. This is probably, if not the best, 4-color commander of all time, then it's way up there. When it comes to commander, I always give my mind a chance to miss something. For all I know, there's like a Nephilim that's a better commander than this. It costs 4 different colors, but I really doubt it. This thing is actually very, very sick. And the rewards for casting spells are pretty good. I really like making creatures. That's great. Almost nothing else actually affects the board state for real. And that kind of sucks, but this is still a pretty powerful card. Pretty obviously. I also like that it makes dudes and then it makes them really big when you cast the green spell, That's kind of cool. Or if you just cast a bunch of red spells, you're just throwing lightning bolts around, but you can only dome opponents with them. That's still fine. It's still kind of at least fine, So I think it's a neat 4-color commander that does a lot of relatively powerful stuff, so it's neat. If nothing else, it can be a 9/9 when you cast a green spell, so cool. But let's move on to Baradur. Am I going to have to really zoom out every single card? Is that a thing? Am I going to have to do that? But anyway, Baradur is a land. There's a bunch of these. There's a bunch of these today. This is the black one. It enters the battlefield tapped unless you control a legendary creature, and it itself, by the way, is legendary. It's a legendary land. This one taps for black, and if you pay XX black and tap it, you amass Orcs X. Activate only if a creature died this turn. Weird ability. And it's interesting that it's not just sorcery speed, but in case you need the primer on amass, if you don't remember it, if you've never seen it, if you don't have any orcs, because it's orcs here, if you don't have any orcs out, you create a 0/0 orc token, and you put X +1/+1 counters on it in this case. So it costs 3 mana, and you tap this, basically 4 lands, to amass 1 in this case. Now, if you do have an orc, then the orc that you get, that you have, gets a number of counters equal to the amass value. So, if you actually spend 5 mana and tap this thing, and you already have an orc, then it basically gets 2 +1/+1 counters. But the real fun here comes when you don't have any orcs, and this just makes a creature, right? So this is a legendary land that produces black mana and doesn't really have a downside. And basically every single downside is negated if you have your commander out or any other legendary creature. So you'll hear me say this about all these lands today. These are going to be extremely popular lands in Commander because there's almost no reason not to play them. And I don't know if I like that, to be honest. But let's move on to Bilbos Ring. I saw this and knew that I'd have to save it. This is 3 mana, legendary artifact equipment. As long as it's your turn, equipped creature has hexproof and cannot be blocked. Well, whenever equipped creature attacks alone, you draw a card and lose 1 life. Okay. Equip halfling for 1 mana, equip any other thing for 4. Really good with halflings, isn't it? It's pretty good. 3 mana to play this and then 4 to equip it to normal stuff. Sucks, but running through these abilities is really, really good. I mean, maybe you get hit with removal when you try to equip this and you feel bad, but at the same time, though, hexproof can't be blocked and you draw cards when it attacks. It's gross, dude. It's pretty good. Any deck can play it. I don't know. You really want this with halflings, but even if you're not playing with halflings, like, it's pretty good, dude. Hexproof can't be blocked. Like, you just play it with your commander or whatever. Especially if your commander is a halfling, like if your commander's Frodo or something. Let's go. That's good card. Good card. Good card. Bill the Pony is up next. Pretty deep cut, but I'll allow it. 4 mana, 3 and a white for a 1/4 legendary horse. When it ETBs, create 2 food tokens. We're doing stuff with food tokens in this set. Sacrifice a food. Until end of turn, target creature you control assigns combat damage equal to its toughness rather than its power. Its target creature doesn't have to be Bill, old Billy boy here, but if it is Bill, 4 mana, 4/4, it's not good, but I still think this card is neat. A 4 mana guy that makes 2 food tokens is not necessarily that noteworthy, but I still like him. Look at him. How do you not like this guy? He's incredible. Isn't Bilbo's Ring literally the One Ring? Yes, it is. As a matter of fact. So let's look at Boromir next. Let's do this one. So Boromir, Warden of the Tower. Oh yeah, by the way, I should point that somebody's going to stick me on this in the comment section if I don't make this more clear. When a mass happens, it checks for an orc army. An orc army, not an orc specifically. If you have just a normal orc out, it's not going to put a +1/+1 counter on it. At least it checks for an orc army. That is correct. You are correct. But we'll move on. True stuff. To Boromir, Warden of the Tower. He's got some sick pork chop sideburns. This is 3 mana, 2 and a white for a 3/3 human soldier with vigilance. He is legendary. And whenever an opponent casts a spell, if no mana was spent to cast it, counter the spell. Sacrifice Boromir, Warden of the Tower. Creatures you control gain indestructible till end of turn. And that ring tempts you. So counters Force of Will and Pact of Negation and stuff, which is kind of hilarious. It actually counters a bunch of stuff. And I could see this being somewhat potentially modern playable. I'm kind of serious a little bit. It just does a lot. It does a lot against a lot of stuff. If your opponent isn't casting free stuff and being, a cheater, casting free spells, then at least it, can protect against the sweeper or whatever. It just does a lot, dude. Boromir's good. Boromir's super good. Isn't this just Lavinia at home? Maybe. That's actually kind of a good point. But we'll move on to, this is one of the uncommons that I saved. I scanned through some of the uncommons and was like, that's okay. And Deliberation is one of them. This is 2 mana, 1 on a blue. Sorry for the terrible card image. I can't do anything about that. 2 mana for an instant, draw card. Whenever you scry, if you control an island, you may exile Council's Deliberation from your graveyard. If you do, draw a card. Kind of neat. I don't know how powerful it is, but it is pretty neat. This is kind of a 2 mana draw too, but it's like delayed, and that might not be the worst thing ever. I don't hate this card is all I'm saying. Cool moment too. Cool moment. But we'll move on to Yomer. Yomer, Marshal of Rohan, is 4 mana, 2 and 2 red for a 4/4 legendary human knight with haste. Whenever 1 or more other attacking legendary creatures you control die, Relentless Assault. It's ridiculous. Untap all creatures you control. After this phase, there's an additional combat phase. This ability triggers only once each turn or else it'd be broken. Yomer doesn't trigger itself if it dies in combat, which is like slightly lame, but in Legends decks, this is just like very gross. This is so gross, dude. It's a gross card. It has haste too. It's just like literally Relentless Assault on a body that like, it's crazy. It's pretty good, man. 4 mana, 4/4 haste that procs another attack step. Like, that's actually modern, like red aggro playable if you have enough legends. So, pretty sexy card, actually. I like it. So, let's move on to Johan, Fearless Knight. This is 4 mana, 2 in Boros colors for a 3/4 legendary human knight with haste. When Johan Fearless Knight enters the battlefield, exile target creature an opponent controls with greater power. Legendary creatures you control gain protection from each of that creature's colors until end of turn. And this has haste, so it's pretty funny, actually. If nothing else, this comes down, hits a relatively big dude, and then swings in and definitely connects, right? Seems okay, dude. It seems all right. I guess there's like a Boros legendary theme happening in this set, unless it's like every color has a legendary theme going on. There's a bunch of legendary dudes. Is this set just Dominaria? I'm just doing Dominaria again, but it's Lord of the Rings. Yeah, I like this. I like this a lot, man. 4-mana creature as a removal spell is a bit much, you know. Like it's not. You know, Brutal Cathar is probably just better than this in a lot of ways. You know, your fiend hunter type creatures, but it sucks that it's greater power. But this is below curve. This is like one of those times you're like, oh, good, the card's below curve. You know, it's 3 power. It's probably going to be able to scoop something on curve. And if you're on the draw, it's like technically slightly better, you know, in some ways. So I like it. I kind of like this. You know, 4 mana, 3/4 haste removal spell that can alpha strike. Then yeah, man, something about it. Something about that lady. Let's move on to Fanghorn Tree Shepherd. This is a 7 mana, 4 and 3 green for a 4/10 legendary tree folk, and tree folk you control has vigilance. Whenever one or more tree folk you control attack, add twice that much green mana. You don't lose unspent green mana as steps and phases, and wow, that's fun. That's pretty fun. So even if just this attacks, if you're only tree folk and it attacks with vigilance, it has 10 toughness, and it creates 2 green. Just by attacking, it creates 2 green that you never lose. So pretty cool. It costs 7 mana, so deal with that. But I think it's cool. I like that it's tree folk tribal stuff. You know, we just don't have enough of that. Tree folk have existed since Alpha. Since like 1993, tree folk have been a thing, but don't see enough like tree folk specific tribal stuff. I like him. But you know, in the way that I like 7 mana green creatures that do stupid crap and like never actually see play and stuff. But I like them. So let's move on to Fires of Mount Doom. 3 mana, 2 and a red for a legendary enchantment. When it enters the battlefield, it deals 2 damage to target creature an opponent controls. Destroy all equipment attached to that creature. I see what you did there. You can pay 2 and a red, exile the top card of your library. You may play that card this turn. When you play a card this way, Fires of Mount Doom deals 2 damage to each player. So it is a removal spell that can also like 2-for-1 them right off the bat if the creature has equipment. It's probably really good in draft, isn't it? Like, there's a bunch of equipment in this set. That's good. It's pretty good there. But just a removal spell that can, in very rare occasions, 2-for-1. Not even rare, right? This is Commander, right? Because this is Commander, right? They have like Swiftfoot Boots or Lightning Greaves or Basilisk Collar or like something, you know, they have a sword, you know, they got something. So I don't know. It probably isn't as rare as I'm making it out to be. But anyway, 3 mana removal spell that can also get you card advantage. Like, sick. It's a good enchantment, right? It's okay. That's not bad. Yeah, all those give hexproof. That's true. That's true. Like Swiftfoot Boots, Lightning Greaves, you can't target the thing, so I guess that's a moot point. Swords, though, I guess. We're back down to swords. I don't know. It could work. Either way, you know, even if you never destroy an equipment with it, like, kill that guy, the rest of the game I can threaten card advantage. Like, sure, it's not bad. Frodo, Determined Hero, 2 mana, 1 and a white for a 2/2 legendary halfling warrior. And when Frodo enters the battlefield or attacks, you may attach target equipment you control with mana value 2 or 3 to Frodo. As long as it's your turn, prevent all damage that would be dealt to Frodo. That's good, right? Like, that's just pretty good. It's not great at blocking or anything, but like, it just can attack pretty recklessly. And you just get to throw a sword on it, right? It's interesting that you can't attach the One Ring to it, because I think the One Ring costs 4. But, yeah. Swords. lightning greaves and stuff like that. You know, like if this is your commander and you start on, you know, again, greaves or boots or something like that, you just get to throw it on Frodo when he comes into play. That seems really good. Prevent all damage that would be dealt to Frodo on your turn. That's good, man. Just a bear with strong abilities. That's a strong card. That's pretty decent. Also, just like equipment commander decks are going to want him, right? So it's pretty good. That's all I can really say. I'm actually fairly impressed with this Frodo. But let's move on to, oh, why didn't you keep the zoom? There's got to be a way to keep the zoom, right? There's got to be. Zoom to fit. Is that the way to do it? I should just press that button. I'm so stupid. Anyway, Galadriel, Gift Giver, is 5 mana, 3 and 2 green for a 4/4 legendary elf noble. And when an ETBs or attacks, choose one. Put a +1/+1 counter on another target creature. Create a food token or create a treasure token. 5 mana is kind of a lot for any of these abilities, right? A little bit much. 5 mana 4/4 that makes a food token? Not great. I'm just looking at the ETB trigger and nothing else here. I know that you also get these things when it attacks, but like, okay, once a turn, I get a +1/+1 counter on something else or a food token. Ooh, a food token. So, why is this Galadriel? It should be better, right? I don't know. It's a pretty wide spread of abilities. The versatility's there. If you get these abilities twice, you paid 5 mana for a 4/4 and 2 +1/+1 counters. And like, it's not good. Pay 5 mana for a 4/4 and 2 treasure tokens. That's like a little better. I am not impressed with this. To be honest. And I like Galadriel too, so it's kind of not great. Huh. All right. Let's move on to... Oh, we did it! Okay, we did it, guys. Gandalf the White is up next. Gandalf is 5 mana this time. 3 and 2 white for a 4/5 legendary avatar wizard with flash. An avatar... I see what you're doing. That's correct. That is correct. Anyway, it has flash for some reason. You may cast legendary spells and artifact spells as though they had flash. If a legendary permanent or an artifact entering or leaving the battlefield causes a triggered ability of a permanent you control to trigger... Panharmonicon. If a legendary permanent or an artifact entering or leaving the battlefield causes a triggered ability to happen, double it. That's good. It's pretty good. So Elish Norn, but also when things leave the battlefield. And also things have flash. This card does a lot. This card kind of does a lot without actually doing anything the turn you play it. But I guess that's mitigated by the flash heavily. So there's probably a million things to be done with this, aren't there? There's probably combos with this guy. Come on. Come on, it's Panharmonicon. This is just the uniqueness of a leaving the battlefield trigger. That's... Huh. And it's not dying either. It's leaving the battlefield. That's a little different. So, huh. Pretty good. Yeah, busted, people are saying. Yeah. It seems kind of gross, honestly. Our other Gandalf is the... Oh, yeah, this is the more aggro-oriented one, I think. This is 4 mana. 3 and a white for a 3/3. This is Gandalf White Rider, by the way. It's a Hill Giant. 4 mana, 3/3 legendary avatar wizard with vigilance. When you cast a spell, any old spell, creatures you control get +1/+0 till end of turn, scry 1. When Gandalf dies, you may put it into its owner's library 5th from the top. That's actually kind of a good ways from the top. But I like him. I like him. I don't actually think he's that great, to be like truly honest with you. I don't think he's amazing or anything, but I do think he's cool, and that's all I really want from these Lord of the Rings cards. So it's a neat dude. Gimli's up next. Yeah, I'm not going to talk that much about that Gandalf. Gimli is up next. 3 mana, 1 a green and a red for 8 green. Huh. What? 1 a green and a red for a 3/2 legendary dwarf warrior. Gimli, Mournful Avenger, has indestructible as long as 2 or more creatures died under your control this turn. Okay. With flavor. Whenever another creature you control dies, put a +1/+1 counter on Gimli. When this ability resolves for the 3rd time this turn, Gimli fights up to 1 target creature you don't control. This is all just flavor, right? What is this actually? This is just a 3 mana 3/2. That's it. A 3 mana 3/2. When something else dies, put a counter on it. This other part of this ability will probably never pop off. And then this part of this ability will probably like never pop off either. So all flavor, no savor. I like the flavor. I was gonna say I'm disappointed, but like I like the flavor. I do. Jund Aristocrats with Gimli? Yeah, somehow. Like Corvald, like in the 99 of Corvald, right? Because you probably get this guy fighting some stuff pretty easily. Sure, let's go with that. Okay, Gruul Aristocrats, yeah. But yeah, seriously, Corvald and Commander, like, let's go a little bit. It could work. Hugh the Intwood is a mythic, so I saved it. This is 5 mana, 3 and 2 red for a sorcery. Lots of text. Sacrifice any number of lands. Reveal the top X cards of your library, where X is the number of lands sacrificed this way. Choose any number of artifact and or land cards revealed this way. Okay. Put all non-land cards chosen this way onto the battlefield. So put the artifacts onto the battlefield. Then put all land cards onto the battlefield tapped. Okay. Then put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. So, mono red artifacts, you say. Right? That's what this is? It's just mono red artifacts? Sure. Gimmicky. That's a gimmick. Scuffed. Let's move on to Last March of the Ends. This is 8 mana. 6 and 2 green. Good lord. For sorcery, this spell can't be countered. Draw cards equal to the greatest toughness among creatures you control and put any number of creature cards from your hand onto the battlefield. Okay. We're talking, but it is 8 mana. At least they put it can't be countered on it. For 8 mana, it better not be able to be countered. So, but you also have to have a dude out. And it has to have like some number of toughness. You know, it has like 3/4 toughness at the very least. So, I guess by the time you're at 8 mana, you better have a dude out. I don't know. I think it's kind of whack, to be honest. Legolas, Master Archer. This is 3 mana, 1 and 2 green for a 1/4 legendary elf archer with reach. Legolas is a 1/4. Whenever you cast a spell that targets Legolas, put a +1/+1 counter on Legolas. That's how you do it. Whenever you cast a spell that targets a creature you don't control, Legolas deals damage equal to its power to up to 1 target creature. So you cast bite spells and fight spells because they target Legolas. I guess you can also do, whatever, Snakeskin Veil, Tyvar's Stand, Blossoming Defense, like any number of these green, like protected dude spells work really well with legs. Whenever you cast a spell that targets a creature, whenever you cast Go for the Throat, Legolas can ping a guy. That seems really good. It's not standard legal, by the way. I used the standard legal cards. So I just want to point that out. But like whenever I fatal push a guy, that's cute. Whenever I cast a bite spell, that spell targets both Legolas and the other creature, right? So that's disgusting. And Legolas bites too. He doesn't fight. You know, he just deals damage equal to his power. This card is gross. It takes a while to get going though. And you should probably play it on 4 mana. I don't think this card is like constructed playable. I'm pretty sure it's not. Right? I wouldn't play this in Modern, but in Commander, this is neat. This is kind of a stank card. I like this. I like the design a lot. It's cool. It's cool. You know, it should have first strike instead of reach. No, archers have reach. Archers always have reach. It's magic rules for some reason. Mary's up next. Meriadoc Brandy Buck. Brandy Butt. This is 2 mana, 1 and a green for a 2/2 legendary halfling citizen. Whenever 1 or more halflings you control attack a dude, a player, create a food token. It's not a great card. It's really not that great of a card, to be honest. A lot of the hobbits deal with food, but it's Mary, so. Or it's Meriadoc Brandy Buck. Let's move on to Mary. It's Mary again. Esquire of Rohan. This is 2 mana. Boros colors, a red and a white for a 2/2 legendary halfling knight with haste. And it enters it has first strike as long as it's equipped. Whenever you attack with Mary and another legendary creature, draw a card. Cool. Cool dude, man. I mean, just a 2 mana 2/2 haste, not the best thing in the world. But 2 mana 2/2 haste. And if you happen to have cast I like this line, like you cast Skrelv turn 1 or something. Like any 1-drop legendary dude, you swing with both of them on turn 2, draw a card. That's actually very powerful. I think that's super powerful on the play. It's not going to happen every day, but like it's good stuff. First strike as long as it's equipped. Just another halfling that goes in these equipment decks. This and Frodo are like 2 of your 2-drops in red-white equipments and in Commander. But they're welcome, you know? Like, that's fine with me. I'm fine if, like, Frodo and Merry show up in an equipment deck in Commander. They seem like they could be here. I would not have picked, like, you know, if I'm making hobbits, if I'm designing hobbits, I would not think of Merry, right? Merry. I would not think to be like, oh, with Merry, we can do a Boros equipment guy. Like, what are you doing? I guess it works, though. It works very well. He's pretty cool. I like him. But moving on to Minas Tirith. This is a legendary land, and when it ETBs, well, I keep getting ahead of myself. I'm so sorry. I told you I was tired. Minas Tirith enters the battlefield tapped unless you control a legendary creature. This is the white one of these. It taps for a white, or you can pay 1 a white and tap and draw a card. Activate only if you attacked with 2 or more creatures this turn. So wedding announcement rules on drawing a card there. But this one is really good. This one is so good, dude. Again, there's almost no reason not to play these in a commander deck, right? Not to play a 1-of. So, Mines of Moria is up next. This is a legendary land. It's the red one of these. This one, you pay 3 a red, tap it, and exile 3 cards from your yard to create 2 treasure tokens. An interesting little ramp thing. Although I don't think this is anywhere near the best one of these. I still think that it's probably worth playing that 1-of in your commander deck. I mean, why not, you know? But, ooh, nasty in. I'm excited about this one. This is a common. I think it might be the only common that I saved. But this is ridiculous. This is 2 mana, 1 and a black for an instant. As an additional cost to cast it, sack a dude, draw 2 cards. But if the sacrificed creature was legendary, draw 3 cards instead. That's crazy, man. That's a good magic card, dude. Sack a legendary, draw 3 at instant speed for 2 mana. This card is gross. Mark my words, this card is absolutely gross. It's very, very good card. But let's move on to Nazgul. I just say this because it's a Nazgul. I'm pretty sure it's not that good. But I haven't really read it. 3 mana, 2 and a black for a 1/2. Wraith Knight with Death Touch. When it ETBs, the ring tempts you. Whenever the ring tempts you, put a +1/+1 counter on each Wraith you control. A deck can have up to 9 cards named Nazgul. So we're going to go back and give some creatures like Wraith creature types. Is Bog Wraith a Wraith? Probably. Anyway, you can Bog Wraith +1/+1. That's funny. It's one of these 9 cards named Nazgul in a deck. Because there's 9 of them. Because there's 9 kings that blah blah. But anyway. So I guess it's a 3 mana 2/3 when it ETBs. You have 9 of them. You have 9 of them. That's kind of cute. And, like, obviously you can have other stuff in your deck besides Nazgul to have the ring tempt you. I don't know. I want to do it. I want to try it. It's neat. 1 ring to rule them all is up next. I have not read a word of this saga. It is 4 mana, 2 and 2 black. On Chapter 1, the ring tempts you, and then each player mills cards equal to your ring bearer's power. Okay. On Chapter 2, destroy all... Each player mills cards. This is terrible. On Chapter 2, destroy all non-legendary creatures. Sick. On Chapter 3, each opponent loses 1 life for each creature card in that player's graveyard. So, it's Damnation that takes an extra turn. But also doesn't destroy legends, which in Commander isn't as good, because they're going to have their Commander out. It's kind of fine, but it's kind of fine, but that's kind of the line, you know? Peregrine Took is up next. This is 3 mana, 2 and a green for a 2/3 legendary halfling citizen. If 1 or more tokens would be created under your control, you get those tokens, but you also get an additional food token. Cool. Not great. That's why it's uncommon. It's Peregrine, so I saved it. You know, you gotta have old Pippin here. Here's Pip again, by the way. Pippin, guard of the council. Anyway, this is 2 mana. What am I mixing up hobbits here? Anyway, this is 2 mana, a white and a blue for a 2/2 legendary halfling soldier. Vigilance and Ward 1. So this is actually a pretty good start. You can tap it. Another target creature you control gains protection from the card type of your choice until end of turn. It can't be blocked, targeted, dealt damage, enchanted, or equipped by anything of that type. So Protection from instants. So gross. So dumb. Protection from creatures and just like get in with the dude. Is this card like absolutely busted? Am I wrong, dude? Am I nuts? Missed the card draw ability on the previous pip? Oh, sack 3 foods, draw a card? Well. It's still just fine. It's still fine. I'm just very interested in this pip. This Pippin. This Scotty Pippin right here, baby. This is the Jordan of Pippins. This is a ridiculous looking card to me, man. It's a bear. I mean, those aren't amazing every time, right? But just 2 mana 2/2 with 2 keyword abilities. One of them makes him actually get ward is a good ability. And like a pseudo like Mother of Runes thing going on. This guy's awesome. Like this guy is very, very good. Like 4 out of 5. Would recommend, dude. Seriously, this guy's good. Yes, similar to Skrelv. Go Skrelv into Pip. Woof. Let's move on to Prince. That's a good card. Prince Emmerhill the Fair. This too is Azorius colors. White and blue for a 2/2 legendary guy. It's a human noble. Whenever you draw your second card each turn, create a 1/1 white human soldier creature token. Just a solid creature, man. Just a very, very solid bear that I think is pretty good. Neat that it can also proc on your opponent's turn, but, you know, starting on turn 3, you can get a guy. Probably not the best payoff in the world, right? But I just like this dude. I think he's cool. I think he's actually very cool. But Rising of the Day, a cool little uncommon here. Not much to write home about, but still neat. It's neat. 3 mana, 2 and a red for an enchantment. Creatures you control have haste. Legendary creatures you control get +1/+0. That's pretty good. It's really all there is to it. Global haste on your dudes, and sort of an anthem effect. Sure. It's just not bad. We're on Rivendell, which is blue. The elf land is blue. It makes sense though, but still kind of hate it. Rivendell is a legendary land. It's the blue one of these. It comes into play tapped unless you got a legendary creature. You can pay 1 and a blue and tap it to scry 2, but you only do this if you have a legendary creature. That's fine. It's fine. You're playing Commander, so you're likely to have a legendary creature. So again, really no reason not to put this in your deck. It's a very, very good card. Super good land. But let's look at Rosie. You're gonna take Rosie out tonight. Rosie Cotton of South Lane is 3 mana, 2 and a white for a 1/1 legendary halfling peasant. And when it enters the battlefield, you create a food token. Whenever you create a token, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control other than Rosie. Don't get any ideas. Can't put counters on her. She's not a 3 mana 2/2. That would be too good for some reason. Rosie's very pretty, and that's about all I really have to say about her. She's not super great. We'll move on to Samwise Gamgee over here. Just plain old Samwise Gamgee. 2 mana, Selesnya colors this time. Green and a white for a 2/2 legendary halfling peasant. Whenever another non-token creature enters the battlefield under your control, create a food token. Sack 3 foods, return target historic card from your graveyard to your hand. Of course, that means artifacts, legendaries, and sagas, basically. So neat little flavor because he's reading the stories to his kids and the I like the flavor here, but I also just kind of like the card. You know, I like these bears. I keep calling them bears, and they're all like hobbits. But in case you're just watching this video because you're excited about the Lord of the Rings set, and you don't even really play much Magic. Bear just means 2 mana 2/2 that does. It doesn't even have to do anything. It just means 2 mana 2/2. But depending on what a bear does, it can be very good. And starting on turn 3, usually this is going to start creating food. You can also go like turn 3, drop a land, play this 1 drop, get a food token. That's not bad. And honestly, especially if you got a couple other things like cooking stuff up, slamming foods in the oven, then like this ability, the return historic cards from your yard to your hand, is actually like kind of okay. So I don't hate this card at all. I'm not sure how amazing it is, but you know, it might find a place in very specific commander decks, but we'll see. I mean, it is in and of itself a commander, so there's that. Let's move on to Saruman of many colors. This is 3 and Esper colors, so 6 mana. 3 a white, a blue, and a black for a 5/4 legendary avatar wizard. Ward, discard an enchantment, instant, or sorcery card. That's pretty good. Wow. So if they don't have those cards, they just can't target him. All right. Whenever you cast your second spell each turn, each opponent mills 2 cards. When one or more cards are milled this way, exile target enchantment, instant, or sorcery card with equal or lesser mana value than that spell from an opponent's graveyard. Copy the exile card. You may cast a copy without paying its mana cost. Good lord. Okay, so 6 mana, 5/4, extremely hard to target guy. They basically have to have 2 removal spells to target it, right? That's pretty good. Whenever you cast your second spell each turn, they mill 2, and then exile something from their yard, and then you get... This is really good. This is so good. The only real drawback to this is 6 mana. But, I mean, for 6 mana, you get a guy that's, like, really hard to actually get rid of. He doesn't quite have hexproof, but it is about as close as it gets. This card is awesome, dude. This card is so awesome. I like this. It's just me. Yeah, awesome. This guy is my dude. Yeah, man. I can see why. Whew. Dude, you're awesome. Sorry, man. Man. Like, I can't call him like the best card we've seen so far because he's got 6 mana, but like, damn. Let's move. Ooh, Sauron, the Dark Lord. What do you do? 6 mana, again. 3 in Grixis colors, blue, black, and red. For a 7/6 legendary avatar horror with ward. Sacrifice, oh my god. Sacrifice a legendary or artifact creature. A legendary artifact or legendary creature you have to sack to target this guy. Wow. Whenever an opponent casts a spell, amass orcs 1. Gross. Whenever an army you control deals combat damage to a player, the ring tempts you. Okay. Whenever the ring tempts you, you may discard your hand if you do. Oh my god. What if I don't have any cards in my hand? It just reads draw 4, you know? Hell, even if I have 1 card in my hand, it still reads like draw 3 cards, basically. I mean, you draw 4. It still reads draw 4 cards. You discard the 1 card in your hand you're not casting anyway. Holy butt sacks, dude. 6 mana for a dude that is nigh untargetable. Like, almost untargetable, you know? Like, it is commander, so your opponents will have legendary dudes, but, like, you gotta sack their commander to get rid of him. Oh, man. That's cute because you either have to sack the ring and he dies, or, you know, Bilbo dies, or, you know, Gollum dies. Like, somebody's gonna die on Mount Doom, so... I kind of get it. I like the flavor. But my God, whenever an opponent casts a spell, any opponent in a 4-player game of Magic, that's disgusting. This card's gross, man. Oh my God. This card's really freaking good, dude. Like, yikes, man. I just can't say much more than that. And it's in the nastiest colors too. Oof. Whenever an opponent casts a spell, amass orcs 1. Jeez. So just when it comes around to your turn, you're just going to have a 4/4. Like, you have a 7/6 and a 4/4 at least, you know? Like, it's gross. It's so good. Shadow of the Enemy is 6 mana. This is a 3 and 2 black for a sorcery. Exile all creature cards from target player's graveyard. You may cast spells from among those cards for as long as they remain exiled. And mana of any type can be spent to cast them. So I can't just cast them for free. I spent 6 mana on this thing. Exile every creature from a player's graveyard. It's not even all players' graveyards. Come on, man. This is probably like, you know, it's just a big splashy commander card, but you cast this, and if you don't have the mana to cast anything else that you hit with it, you're just like a massive target. You can hit your own graveyard, right? But, that's bait. This is bait. Let's move on to Storm of Saruman. This, too, is 6 mana. Every card in the set is 6 mana. It's 4 and 2 blue for an enchantment with ward 3. Whenever you cast your second spell each turn, copy it, except the copy isn't legendary. Oh my god. You may choose new targets for the copy. What are they doing? Oh, this card is gonzo. Baronzo, man. This is good. 6 mana, though. Like, the only downside to these amazing cards is they cost too much mana. But ward 3, you know. Ward 3. Copy your second spell each turn. And the copy isn't legendary. That's gonna have fun with that, Captain. That's what this card's for. It's just for having fun, dude. Yeah, it's fun. Magic should be fun. This card looks like a lot of that. So let's go. Ooh, the Balrog. I haven't read you either. Flame of Udun. This is 5 mana. 3 a black and a red for 7/7. Okay, legendary avatar demon with trample. When a legendary creature an opponent controls dies, put the Balrog Flame of Udun on the bottom of its owner's library. Okay, so that's cute flavor. I totally see what you did, and I kind of love it. I gotta say, 5 mana 7/7 trample. Downside being if they block it with their commander, it goes to the bottom of your library. So, It doesn't really do much more than be a 5 mana 7/7 trample though, so it's kind of just all flavor. It needs to actually do something, yeah, but it's cool. Witch King of Angmar is next. 5 mana, 3 and 2 black for a 5/3 legendary Wraith Noble with flying. Whenever one or more creatures deal combat damage to you, each opponent sacrifices a creature that dealt combat damage to you this turn, and then the ring tempts you. Discard a card. Witch King of Angmar gains indestructible till end of turn and tap it. So if you have a card in your hand, they can't really do much about it. And if they deal combat damage to you, you have to get rid of one of the guys that dealt damage to you. It's fine. You also randomly get the ring to tempt you. So like this, if you got nothing else, this becomes your ring bearer. It's fine. It's got basically a hexproof mode on it, which makes me like it. But and it's Okay, so the way the play pattern works is you play this, you say go, and then if they swing into you, this blocks something and you discard a card. It kills whatever it blocks, but it sticks around because it has indestructible. And then, or if they get in on you with something, then they have to sacrifice a guy. So like 9 times out of 10, they're just not going to swing into you if you have this guy. So that's probably good. But is that worth 5 mana? Guess we'll have to see. But that's the last card from today. Some of these are crazy, dude. Like, what are the best cards of the day? What are the best cards of the day? All right, so let's just go back. I'm actually going to go back to the beginning because then I can zoom and make the card huge. Here we go. All right, so Aragorn is fine. Baradur is fine. Yeah, all these legendary lands are amazing. You're going to be playing those in your commander deck. Bilbos Ring is okay. You know. Why can't these cards just be huge? I'm sure that I've done something screwed. And that they could have been full. This could have been so much easier the whole time. But anyway, Bill the Pony, Boromir. Boromir seemed really good. And I feel like this might be one of the better cards of the day. That first ability is so much better than it looks. It's very good. Council's Deliberation, fine. Yomer, fine. Johan, pretty good. Fanghorn, bait. Fires of Mount Doom. I think this card is probably really good in Commander. I think that's probably fine. 3 mana is probably too much for the card advantage ability, though, if we're being honest. Frodo, the 2 mana white Frodo. This one looked really, really good to me. Galadriel, meh. Yeah, Gandalf is kind of busted. Gandalf is a dumb card. It's good. The 5 mana one specifically. Gimli's lame. Legolas is fine. I think this is kind of neat. Be a fun commander to build around. Like a bite commander, a fight commander. You just don't see a lot of those. That's cool. Oh, this 2 mana Mary for equipment decks. That looks pretty good. I would say, I don't know if it's one of the best cards of the day, but it looks pretty good. Minas Tirith, Mines of Moria, Nasty Inn, Nazgul, One Ring, Peregrine took, Pippin, yeah. Yeah, man, Pippin. Pippin looks very good. Keep it Pippin, you know? Rivendell, Rosie, Samwise, looks like a fun commander, but not powerful. Saruman is a powerful card. Saruman and Sauron are like, as far as the text box on the card goes, not counting the mana cost, these are like the 2 best cards of the day. These are nuts. But I think the best cards of the day were probably some of the 2 drops altogether. But that's about it. That is about it for the Lord of the Rings stuff that we've seen for today, at the very least. They're going to start rolling this set out really soon, so stay tuned for more previews, you know, and some of these previews will be a little bit more professional than what we did today. I'm actually going to be standing up in front of the couch with the microphone the way you guys like, so. But today, you know, we have the new standard. Bands just happened. I've got like 8 decks. I want to play one of them for an hour or 2. And Lord of the Rings happened, so there's just so much time, and I have to, use that time wisely. So we did it this way this time, right? But next time you see me doing these spoilers, it should be the quote-unquote right way. Anyway, that's all I got as far as this YouTube video goes. Of course, Twitch chat, stay with me because we got standard stuff to do. But if you're watching on YouTube, that's all I got for this one. Just do all the YouTube stuff on your way out. I won't belabor it. Just Patreon exists. Twitch obviously exists. I'm on it right now. So check that out. Links in the description, all that content. And I will catch you cats later. I'm Deb from The Place. Thanks for watching, Wizards. Spread love and be kind.